Well, sometimes, guys, you know, we make mistakes in the hobby. You know, it's unfortunate for the animal that's the victim. You know, it's my fault. She's alive, though. This is my Acanthoscurria jacoana. She molted not too long ago, and she was given water. So she had water, but she ran out again. And she was starting to get weak. So she wasn't in a complete death curl. In fact, I wouldn't even say she was in a death curl, but you could tell by her stance that she was a little weaker than she ought to be, and she was very sluggish. So, I mean, she allowed me to pick her up, if that tells you anything. She normally would not. So what I did was I put her in an ICU, and I do believe ICUs work only if you catch them early enough. You know, obviously if they've reached the point of no return, they're most likely not going to make it. ICU won't even help. But I do think in the earlier stages, you know, of the spider being weak, or even the early stages of dying, it could pull through. And my younger Ephopopus murinus did survive in an ICU, and I think this one will make it too. But I put her water dish in there. I dampened some paper towels in there so she can rehydrate, and I think she'll be perfectly fine. Let me show you my David Bowie. I think I can take him out of the ICU now, but he is just going to be handicapped. I mean, he's a mature male, but you know, he's just handicapped now. His legs don't work like they used to. I think it's time to take him out of the ICU. Now it's just he's handicapped. He had a bad molt. He's a mature male. I believe so anyway. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like he has bulbous pedipalps. And he's got that red stripe down the carapace and abdomen there. So I think he's a mature male, but correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not as experienced with true spiders as I am tarantulas, but he is severely handicapped from his molt. I mean, you see me doing this here? Normally he would, if he was healthy, or, you know, if he had all of his legs working properly, he would be moving so fast I would just see a streak. You know, these guys are insanely fast. And so, you know, he's alive, but, you know, he just can't move much. So I'm going to have to kind of do a little bit of a different setup for his enclosure, because you can just forget about really climbing, which is a pity. But when I feed him, I'm going to have to give him maimed prey, and I'll have to put it like right there next to him. I mean, it's not really a life for a spider to live, but I don't know. We'll see how he does in his home. I'll have to put everything near him. He's a mature male, so I think. So I don't think he'll live much longer anyway. These guys grow very fast. But, yeah, I'm afraid his last few months or whatever aren't going to be that good for him. He's already hardened up, so I'm not worried about that. But his legs are all just twisted bad. It's awful. But anyway, just wanted to give you an update. Had people want to know, so I'll go ahead and put him in his home and kind of rearrange it a little bit for him. Alright, well, here he is. I'm about to put him in his home. What I'm going to do is, since he can't be arboreal right now, I mean, the way he's handicapped so badly, I mean, look how he moves. See that? He doesn't move right. See that? That's how he does. Look at that. See? He can't. See that? Isn't that awful? That's sad, isn't it? It's sad. But I think he'll make it. Just, you know, gonna be handicapped. Alright, I made his home more like sideways now. So That way it'll be easier on him. And so I'm going to put him in there now so he can relax. But yeah, I just wanted to give you an update. Alright, he's safely inside now. I got his water dish in there, and I got the maimed cricket right next to him. So he should be able to get that if he's hungry. I'll give you more updates on him later. Alright. If you ever want to get a large enclosure for your spider, I think you can definitely get away with giving a Euophlus a large enclosure. Because let me tell you, they roam all over the place. And she's a female. She's not even a male looking for a mate. Look at that. She's on the ceiling. Of all the spiders I've ever owned, the Euophlus are the most roamiest. Is that even a word? They roam the most. You know, there's great debate on whether or not to have your spiders in small enclosures or medium or large, whatever. But definitely, if you want to get a large, nice looking enclosure, I would say go for it with the Euophlus species green or even the blue, because they move around so much. And the red. Look at that. She's all over the place. Ever since she molted, she's back to her old self again of roaming all over the place. She loves it. She loves to come out for a little stroll too. So I might allow her to come out more than the others. But all my other spiders don't move around this much. Not this much. So I think they're in appropriately sized enclosures. But heck, she could be in an enclosure the size of large marges and be happy. She's getting a drink. So yeah, just wanted to point that out. It's funny. If she was in a very healthy condition, she would not dare allow me to do this. This is my Acanthoscurria chacona. She did seem to improve, so I moved her out of the Tarantula ICU and put her back in her own enclosure with heat nearby, but not too close, and of course a full water dish. And she's still pretty sluggish, and I looked underside to make sure she, you know, didn't have any of her book lungs blocked by anything. But she is alive, by the way, in case you hadn't seen her move. But if you look at her on this side, you'll see on her patella, she's got, like, on some of the patella, not all of it, but a lot of it, her molt, she still has some of her old molt stuck on her legs. And I just now noticed this now that I got her in a good light. And I think that's what's kind of hindering her movement, you know, and everything. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I can get that off safely without injuring her. I could try, but it's a very traumatic thing to surgically remove molts from a tarantula. I mean, it can be done, but it's not always successful. You know, if she can live a good life, like, you know, like good enough like this, maybe we'll leave it, but I don't know. But normally she wouldn't allow me to do this at all. She's usually quite feisty. But I was just examining her, so I might try examine it further to see if I can, if it's even possible for me to remove some of the old molt without injuring her. But oh, I don't look forward to that at all. But I'll examine her a little further and decide whether or not to do it. You know, it may not be worth it, because, you know, it just, if she can live like this, then I'll, you know, let it go. But, you know, at least her book lungs look clear. But it's like she's kind of stiff, because the hardened molt exoskeleton is hindering her from moving her joints fluidly. So I'm going to take a closer look and see what I can do. I'll update you later on her. Well guys, I think I got some bad news on my Scolopendra subspineps. I don't know if this one is full grown or not. Here's like my hand. It's pretty large. So I don't know if it's reached its limit, but I see mites in here. So I don't know. Part of the antenna came off. I don't know how that happened, but I found it actually curled in upside down. It was on its back and it was curled up around its water dish, and so I examined it further to see if maybe, oh, it could be molting. If so, oh, I gotta leave it alone. But it does not look like it's molting at all. I think the mites may have been killing it. It's not completely dead yet, but he's almost there. I mean, he barely moves. So I'm thinking he'll be dying very soon. I think the mites are killing him. So I'm gonna have to, that's the problem with keeping enclosures that you have to have a lot of humidity, a lot of water in it, is that they're prone to make mold, and then therefore mites, fungus, and all that stuff. So there's a huge disadvantage. I keep telling myself I'm going to buy some roly-polies, but I haven't done it yet. But yeah, I got some mites going on in here, and I don't know if they're the predatory kind or not, if that's what's killing this for sure, or if it has just reached its limit. I don't know. I don't know the gender. Don't centipedes live, I don't know, between 5 and 7 years? I don't, you know, the giant ones I think live longer. But yeah, there's definitely mites in here. So I'm going to have to double check all my other enclosures to make sure it hadn't transferred over to other containers. But yeah, this one's I believe dying, and I think it's very close to death. It barely moves. And no, I didn't pick it up with my fingers just in case. It's not one you want to risk being bitten by. So we'll go ahead and say ta-ta to this one. You know, we enjoyed it, and I guess we'll just have to move on. Alright, let me give you an update on my David Bowie. I don't think things are looking good with that one. Alright guys, I'm going to rehouse a couple of my Trinochilus murinus juveniles. I have the container here full of deep substrate for its size. A full water dish and a little decor there. No cave, because it will definitely make its own burrows with lots of cool webbing. So, let's go ahead and attempt to get this out. It's good to have a catch cup handy, because these guys are very fast and old world, and it's just best to have it handy. So, hopefully this will be easy. Easy peasy. Oh, there it is right there. And then when these guys get spooked, they are gone. I do not recommend handling OBTs, but sometimes it happens. There. That was a lot of fun. Poke you in there good so I don't get your legs caught. Here we go. Nope, yep, already burrowing itself. That didn't take long. Going down. Alright. I do not recommend handling old worlds, but sometimes accidents happen where one will end up on you, whether you like it or not. Now, I will admit, with a larger OBT, I would have used even more caution than I did. I'm more afraid of a bite from a larger one, even though a smaller one like this one could bite. But at this age, they're more wanting to run than bite. But still, it's risky. Alright, let's move on to the next one and hope it's easier. Alright, time for the other one. Raring to go. They're about the same size. Yeah, this one's just as fast and crazy as the other one. Like I said, I'm a little less careful with the smaller ones, even if they do have a nasty bite. Just like I said, they're less likely to bite when they're this size, even though they could. They very well could. Yeah, of course you're going to do that. Just like your buddy did. Oh, you're too smart for your own good. Take that out. I mean, it's not that bad. I'd rather use the paintbrush. Alright, well, I can do that. Now get in there. Come on. These guys are not easy at all. Let me tell you that. Come on. I know you love your new home and all. I mean, your old home. But you'll love your new home even more. There we go. Don't think about it. Eh. Look at that. Look, see? Even when you're closing the lid with these guys, you have to be very careful. You're going to trap some legs. Look at that. Come on, get down in there. Don't want to trap your legs. Like I said, if I was doing this to my... Oh, I wouldn't be doing this with my large female. Oh, no. You have to use a lot of caution with her. She's really mean. There you go. Wasn't as easy as I would have liked, but it could have been worse. Alright, let's move on to something else. Well, guys, I decided to take a little drive to an exotic pet store. And I got 2 new inverts. Let's take a look and see what I got. Here's the first one. I have had one of these before, but it died on me a few years ago. This is my Avicularia, common pink toe. I just had to have another one because they are so sweet. And this is the container it came in. So obviously I'm going to put it in a larger container with an arboreal setup. This is not arboreal enough, obviously, for this size spider. I guess this would be a juvenile, unsexed. And put a water dish in there, not make it quite so damp, and plenty of ventilation. So, let's make this one's... let me go ahead and show you the other one first before I start housing these guys. Here's the next thing I got. I've been wanting one of these for a while, a vinegaroon. Finally got one. So let's take a closer look. There it is right here. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? And yes, these guys can shoot acid from their backside. If they get bothered too much, they would do that. Although these guys are pretty docile, they're actually quite handleable if you wanted to do that sort of thing. There's nothing really, toxic about them except for the fact that they shoot acid. It's the acid is like vinegar, hence the name vinegaroon. So, it wouldn't be like you could have an allergic reaction to it. But other than that, there's really nothing to worry about with these guys. But they use those long appendages, is that how you say it? At the very front there, they use those as feelers. You see one right there. They use those as feelers, and then those claw-looking things near their mouth is what they use to catch their prey with, similar to a scorpion. But yeah, really cool critter. I'm so happy to have one of these. I will keep it in a similar setup as this one, but I'm going to put in new substrate and give it a hide, because these guys do like to be hidden, and they do not like the light. So I'm sure this one will appreciate a cave of some sort. Alright, let's do some rehousings. Alright guys, I'm going to transfer the avic into this larger, more arboreal setup. Not much. I mean, I'm not incredibly happy with it, but with the next enclosure it'll have a better setup than this one. So, but we'll live with this one for right now. So I just got it a water dish, and that will suffice in there for the humidity level. So let's go ahead and take this one out. And now these guys can leap about quite a bit, and they also shoot poop at you when they get startled. So be ready for that. Let's see. Now, these guys are really pretty laid back, typically. So I'm going to get my paintbrush here. Test the mood. Cute. So yeah, aside from the jumpiness and poopiness, they're really pretty laid back. So let's see if I can get this one to go into its new home. It's a shame it loses its abdominal pattern the older it gets, but that's the way it goes. Oh, aren't they darling? I know my hand is so warm, but I thought you would appreciate that. I thought you would. Come on, sweetheart. Oh, you're just so precious. Come on. Come on, honey. You will like your home better than what you were in. I mean, it's not the best in the world, but it's certainly better than what you were in. Come on, honey. I know. I know, it's scary, isn't it? Come on, baby. Let's try this. She's not being very cooperative, but I don't know the gender, like I said, but I always hope for a female, but we'll see. There we go. Yeah, that was a little bit better. I think the warmth of my hand made her nervous. So there she goes. You enjoy your new home. Alright, let's take care of the vinegaroon. In case any of you were wondering, that is what a defense posture looks like with a vinegaroon. Yes, they can be defensive, but they're all talk. Their bark is worse than their bite. But that's what they look like. Alright, let's get on with the housing. Alright, here's my vinegaroons set up. Obviously, as it gets larger, it will get a larger enclosure. But for now, this will be a good size for it. It's got room back there to go hide. I think I keep this like I would keep my forest scorpion, except not as damp as I would my forest scorpion. So they obviously love to hide, and they come out at night to hunt, and so I'm gonna just leave it like that for now. But these guys get to be about 4 inches, I think, 4 or 5 inches, somewhere around there. But right now it's just a young one. So got some good growing up to do. But using its feelers there at the very front to get familiar with its surroundings. They definitely look more menacing than they really are. It looks like the type of invert that would hurt you, but it's really pretty laid back. Like I said, it's all bark and not really bite. So if they do anything, they might shoot acid at you, but even then, that's like a very last resort. They would rather just run and hide. They point their backside there like they're gonna shoot at you, but never shot at me. And you'd know it if they did. You'd smell it. Strong vinegary smell. Alright, well, we'll let him be, and we'll do a little feeding later on and see how it goes. Alright?